Welcome to a meeting of your Planning Commission, the official local planning agency for the cities of Tampa, Temple Terrace, Plant City, and unincorporated Hillsborough County. The Planning Commission provides innovative leadership and long-range vision that contributes to the creation of a thriving, prosperous community that offers opportunity, fairness, and choice in how we live, move, learn, work, and play. For more information about the Planning Commission, please call 813-272-5940. Follow us on social media or visit our website at planhillsborough.org.
Good afternoon and welcome to the February 13th, 2023 regular meeting of the Hillsborough County City-County Planning Commission. We thank you for attending this meeting. Your comments and participation are encouraged. For those attending in person and wishing to speak on any agenda item, please sign the register at the rear of the room and turn off any devices that may be a distraction. To minimize feedback in the audio, all online participants in the meeting will be muted until it is their opportunity to speak. Planning commissioners should unmute themselves to indicate that they would like to speak. Please be sure to state your name at the beginning of your remarks for the benefit of the clerk. There will be an opportunity for members of the public to provide comments. When your name is called, you will be unmuted when it is your turn to speak. Please wait until the chair calls on you to begin speaking. State your name at the beginning of your comments and adhere to the time limits. If anyone has difficulties or is watching via HTV and would like to provide comments to be included in the record for local government hearing, please email them to planner@plancom.org. That's planner@plancom.org. For action items, the meeting will be conducted as follows. The agenda item will be introduced. Staff will give their presentation with a 15-minute time limit. The applicant will be given the opportunity to make a presentation with a 15-minute time limit. Following presentations, members of the public may address the Planning Commission when recognized by the chair. Public comment will be heard for 3 minutes per person. The applicant will be afforded a 3-minute period for rebuttal or response. Planning commissioners will ask questions. Public comment will be closed. Then upon a motion, a second, and discussion, a vote will be taken. With that introduction, I would like to ask Commissioner Soria to lead us in the prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. All please rise.
Heavenly Father, we come before you today with praise for your mighty power and guidance. We thank you for this day and thank you, too, for the many blessings in our lives, for our great country, and for the great opportunity to live in freedom. We ask your blessings on our leaders, and we ask that you give each one of us here today the wisdom to make the right choices so that our decisions will be in the best interests of the people of Hillsborough County. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. And with that, I would like to ask the clerk to go ahead and please do roll call.
Good evening. Bernstein?
Here.
Bowden?
Here.
Buzza?
Here.
Cardenas?
Here.
Fernandez? Fernandez? Andy? Andy? Kress?
Here.
Lauk? Lauk? Surya?
Here.
Orton? Orton? Rodriguez?
Here.
Joseph?
Here.
Thank you. You have a quorum.
All right, thank you. Let me just check something here really quick. Do we have minutes to be approved? It's on the agenda, but it's not like in the item book, so.
Right, I don't believe that the minutes were ready in
Okay.
time for the agenda.
Okay, we'll skip it then. All right, on to our first item of business then, public input. And we did not, public input for agendas, for items not scheduled on the agenda, we didn't have anyone sign up for that, so we will move on to item number 3, which is the presentation of the Regional Resiliency Action Plan, and the presenter is Kara Sarah from Tampa Bay Regional Planning Council.
Good afternoon. I'm just going to share my screen. Moment. Can you all see that?
Yes.
Awesome. So good afternoon. My name is Kara Sarah. I'm with the Tampa Bay Regional Planning Council, and I'm joining you all here today to talk about our recently adopted Regional Resiliency Action Plan. I did a bit of background on who we are as a Regional Planning Council and what we feel our role is, which is to serve our citizens and member governments by providing a forum to foster communication, coordination, and collaboration, and identifying needs and addressing needs regionally. So we feel like we are the sort of convening agency for our member governments, and our member governments cover a 6-county area shown here on the map. We hope to sort of expand conversations between these governments. We want to make sure that we're facilitating public and private partnerships, as well as regional leadership and stewardship. And we provide a forum for talking about trending issues, so issues with water management, issues with growth management. We feel that the Regional Planning Council is a great place for our member governments to come together and talk about those issues. And we have been recently using that platform to talk about sea level rise and climate change. That's been sort of something that we've been working on for a while, but in 2018, we formed the Regional Resiliency Coalition. That was the second collaborative or coalition in the state, the Southeast Florida Compact being the first in the state, and it's the 18th in the United States. There are currently 33 Resiliency Coalition members. Plant City just became the 33rd member, I believe, this month. And we have over 100 private sector partners. And as you can see, we cover a 7-county region in the Resiliency Coalition. Since it's completely voluntary, members don't have to be within the Regional Planning Council's geographic area. So the Resiliency Coalition actually includes Sarasota County as well. So when our member governments joined on to the Resiliency Coalition, they signed a memorandum of understanding agreeing to work together on issues of current and future climate hazards. And they also agreed that they wanted to develop a regional resiliency action plan so that they knew, or so that they had a roadmap for how they would work together on those issues. The MOU also called for the Regional Resiliency Action Plan to be based in sound science. So once we started developing the Regional Resiliency Action Plan, we knew that we needed to turn to the climate science reports that are available to us today, and we'll continue to update what that Regional Resiliency Action Plan references, and making sure that we're coordinating the most timely data. So the action plan took 3 years approximately to develop. We started just before the pandemic, after our first Resiliency Coalition Summit. And we worked with our stakeholders, our member governments, staff, elected officials, and scientific partners. But at the end of the day, we adopted this Regional Resiliency Action Plan in November of last year by our full council. And we want to kind of provide an overview that highlights the fact that the plan is totally voluntary just because a member government signed on to be a member of the Resiliency Coalition. So Hillsborough County, of course, is a member of the coalition, as are the city of Tampa and Plant City. But that doesn't mean you have to sign on to the Regional Resiliency Action Plan, but we do feel that it is a roadmap and it's guidance. It's not something that requires you to spend money or anything like that. The priority of the plan is really regional collaboration, so it's really not asking our member governments to do anything or to necessarily invest anything. And for local governments, it's really a menu of options. So maybe one option works well for your member government because of your budget or staff size, whereas another option doesn't work. We feel like the plan provides an aspirational vision. So even if you're not ready to implement some of the actions in the plan, we can have like a regional vision for what we want to see in the future. And it does align with state and federal priorities and integrates equity throughout. Again, it's a menu of actions. So if you're looking through the plan and maybe you're really interested in electric vehicles or you're interested in how we can reduce food waste, there are options there for all of those things. But maybe as a member government, you're not at that place or that's not the priority for your local community. So it's really, again, it's a menu of options. It's not nothing is mandatory, and it's completely just a roadmap. And the highest priority of the plan is working together. So even though there are suggestions and things that you could think about adopting locally, the highlight of the plan is really how we come together as different member governments and different agencies and work on actions collaboratively. So the partners that we had that helped us to develop the plan and make sure that it made sense for our region are Tampa Bay Estuary Program, University of Florida IFAS Extension, TBARTA, USF Cutter, Army Corps of Engineers, U.S. Green Building Council, Swift Mud, Hillsborough Planning Commission staff were great participants in our coalition meetings and helped us to develop the plan as well. And this kind of shows you where different interest areas are in the plan. So these are some of the interest areas that we've heard from our stakeholders, our elected officials, residents, nonprofit leaders. So we wanted to make sure that we showed that we kind of addressed everything in the plan or everything that we heard from somewhere in the plan. And the plan is divided into 10 regional goals. I won't go through them word for word, but essentially we want to make sure that we're working off of sound science and data and that we continue to update the data that we're working off of. We want to encourage our local governments to adopt vulnerability assessments, and we want to empower our governments and the community by promoting leadership and education. We want multimodal supporting land uses and energy efficient construction, resilient adaptation that helps with habitat restoration and conservation. We want public infrastructure that is going to help us with the flooding today and in the future. And then we feel like multimodal transportation can help us to reduce emissions, but also is important for us to think about adapting to extreme weather. Food systems was a really important priority for our stakeholders, and so we feel like we want food systems in the region to be healthy and resilient. And for our business community, we want to prepare for the storms and disasters today, as well as the future. And we want our economy to, our workforce skills to grow in a way that allows us to adapt to the changing climates. I'm going to go through a couple of the regional priority actions. So these are the things that we feel like we can work on together. So that one of them is to convene MPOs, PSTA, airports, any transportation authority. And then the second big action that we feel like we can work on together is an electric vehicle master plan. So that would help us to identify areas where there could be opportunities for shared infrastructure. So maybe along a Pasco County, Hillsborough County jurisdiction line, you could have a shared charging infrastructure there. And so we would want to partner with with most likely the USF Cutter to identify those locations and where those opportunities are. We have food and business priorities in the action plan. Together, we feel like we can work to provide best practices for how we train our workforce to be able to handle changes in fleet, electric vehicle type stuff, but also innovative infrastructure solutions to the flooding that we're seeing today, and we know that we're going to continue to see. And along those same lines, we want to provide best practices and guidance documents for how we prioritize innovative solutions to flooding. We also want to empower our residents and our community leaders. So we want to have some guidance for how to work with neighborhoods and community-based organizations, as well as we want to have regionally consistent communications materials on how we talk to our residents about sea level rise, climate change, heat, any issues that we know that are happening here locally. Of course, we want to protect our environment, so we want to provide better shoreline and construction standards. We've already developed a model ordinance for seawalls and adaptive shorelines. We want to continue to expand on that project with some additional best practices for making sure that the water doesn't stay behind a seawall and doesn't destroy neighboring properties. And then we also want to encourage local policies and land management strategies that allow for habitat restoration and conservation. And actually this week we'll be starting with the first meeting of our Resilient Land Use and Design Working Group. We know that we have to change the way that we build buildings and the way that we develop, but we're not really sure what the answers to those questions are. So that's where we're going to convene and try to get some experts in the room and some stakeholders who can really talk to that and start to develop the actions and priorities and guidance that we need there to build better and build back better if there is a storm. And then resilient housing, we had our REACH project, which was a project that we finished last year that showed where our naturally occurring affordable housing was also at risk for storm surge, future sea level rise, and future flooding. And that is what I have on the Regional Resiliency Action Plan, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have about the plan or about the Regional Resiliency Coalition.
All right, thank you for the presentation. This is not an action item, it's just for information for the commissioners. If there were any questions or discussions, any comments on the item? Commissioner Rodriguez.
Thank you, Chair. Just wanted to give a shout out to Planning Commission staff, Sean Collins and Diego Guerra. They were active participants on the Regional Resiliency Action Plan with me on the Management and Planning Committee, so I wanted their efforts to be recognized. And Kara, as always, great job with pulling all this together. We're talking about a multi-county region, a lot of cities, a lot of counties, really hurting cats. To come together with an excellent plan. It's a really good playbook for any community to pick up and use depending upon whatever budgetary or policy constraints you might have for your community. You can kind of pick and choose the strategies you need to determine your community vulnerability and to determine what strategies or projects you would need to mitigate. So just an excellent piece of work. I'm happy, honored that I was a part of it. And just wanted to thank everyone for all their hard work in putting this together.
Thank you. Good comments. I didn't know that we were such a big part of it, actually, so it's good to know. Thank you for that. I did hear that Ms. Sarah had been around the region recently, just some counties south of us doing this presentation, so that made me take heart to know that this information was being shared to all the governments in the region, so definitely good work and a great presentation. Are there any more questions or comments from the commissioners? Seeing none at this time, well, thank you for the information, and we will move on to our next item of business, which starts our action items. And our one and only action item is 4A, City of Tampa Land Development Code Text Amendment, Section 27-240, East Tampa Overlay District Design Guidelines. And the presenter is Emily Phelan.
Good afternoon, Emily Phelan, Planning Commission staff. This is Tampa Land Development Code Text Amendment for Section 27-270, East Tampa Overlay District Design Guidelines. This is part of the January 2022 cycle, and it is a privately initiated amendment. The proposed language seeks to amend Section 27-240 and to revise and amend design guidelines for the East Tampa Overlay District. Planning Commission staff reviewed it and found it consistent with several comprehensive plan policies. The request continues to recognize the significant roles of alleys in defining the character of traditional Tampa neighborhoods. It ensures that municipal codes remain sensitive to the changing trends and needs of Tampa's neighborhoods by reviewing all land development code regulations. And the request continues to emphasize mixed-use development patterns within proximity to employment and transit. And with that consideration, Planning Commission staff recommends that the proposed Land Development Code text amendment be found consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the comprehensive plan. And this concludes my presentation, and the applicant is here they have a presentation as well, and city staff is online if you have any questions.
Thank you. Will the applicant please go ahead or come forward?
Thank you. Hi, Kim Headland. I am a 20-year East Tampa resident, and I'm currently chairing East Tampa CAC's Land Use Committee. So that's what brings me here today. I will give a brief overview of the revisions, the specifics of the revisions, starting with the summary of residential proposed changes. The first being the incorporation of the allowance of ADUs within the East Tampa overlay, clarification on lots of record and setback orientation, permitted carport and garage location, parking requirements, alley access for parking, and transparency requirements. A few visuals to go along with that. We are modifying or requesting the modification to require garages to be set back from the main facade of the residential structure, a minimum of 2 feet. A few examples of successes. Carports, we have requested the revision to allow carports to be allowed within 3 foot of the property line, which works with the historic fabric that's found in East Tampa. And then allowing for the use of alleys for parking access if the alley is not vacated. Again, this is not required, but it's encouraged and added to the overlay language as optional. Transparency. The request is requiring windows and doors on all sides of residential structures to a minimum of 15%. A little bit about ADUs and extended family residences. The East Tampa community has talked about this at length for a number of years now and discussed the allowance of generational living, aging in place, and allowing for additional housing affordability within the East Tampa community. Again, it may be located on single-family parcels or in a conforming accessory structure. A summary of non-residential proposed changes. These include transparency requirements being modified, setback orientation being modified to allow for a range, sidewalk requirements, open storage screenings, parking requirements and reductions and offsets, signage standards, adaptive reuse of existing buildings, and the recognition of neighborhood main streets that aligns more closely with our strategic action plan. Starting with fencing, no new chain link for non-residential developments, and open storage must be screened. This was actually probably the most talked about and eager change for East Tampa residents over the course of the last several years as we worked on this. Sidewalks, requesting the revision to the minimum, to provide a minimum of 6-foot sidewalks required on collector and arterial roads. There's recognition that having greater walkability within East Tampa is critical as we start to see more infill and hopefully affordable housing within the East Tampa community. Addressing principal facades and requiring that main entries face the right-of-way and or the entry courtyard. Main streets are highlighted in the revisions and coordinated with our community action plan. In addition to that, there is an incentivized redevelopment opportunities along those commercial corridors, mostly with regards to parking. So parking reductions for existing structures to encourage some adaptive reuse and the use of structures that quite honestly have long been vacant along our commercial corridors in East Tampa. Again, encouraging that adaptive reuse, neighborhood commercial improvement to existing buildings, and allowing and encouraging multimodal transit. Those main streets and commercial corridors that have been highlighted as part of both their strategic action plan and the draft overlay revisions include 15th Street, 22nd Street, 29th Street, and 34th Street. In addition to that, there's a revision for setback range for non-residential properties, including the front setback range of 10 to 12 feet. This not only promotes flexibility, but it's also going to reduce the number of design exceptions that are floating through the city right now within the East Tampa overlay area. And that is kind of a broad overview of the revisions that we're requesting. Thanks.
All right. Did we have someone sign up for this from 3VCA? No, we did not have anyone sign up for public comment on this item, and there's no one in the room who signed up, right? Because I didn't get the list from the back of the room. We're going to double check and see. Nope. All right. So no one here signed up for public comment either. So this time I will turn it over to the commissioners for questions or comments, discussions on this item. Commissioner Buzza, because he came in first.
Could I ask the applicant a question, please? Just regarding the involvement of the community in this process, how many meetings you've had, the attendance, buy-in by the neighborhood?
Yes. The process for this initiated back in 2016 as part of the Land Use Committee. It went through, at that time, between 2016 and 2018, approximately 6 partnership and/or committee meetings. This was tabled from 2018 to approximately 2020 as leadership and priorities changed within the East Tampa CAC, and was picked up again a couple of, probably almost 2 years ago now. Since then, we have made 3 presentations to the partnership. It has been the topic of every single land use meeting, which occurs monthly. Since that time, it's a standing open agenda item. In addition to that, there's been presentations specifically about ADUs by city staff to both the CAC and to the partnership. There's been individual presentations made to any of the 13 neighborhoods that have requested it. There's been a presentation made, most recently Ybor Heights, just in January requested a presentation, so there have been continued discussions for a great length of time.
Commissioner Kress.
I just want to say thank you, Kim. I know you've been a community activist for a long time, and this has been years in the making, and I know how kind of labor-intensive CAC-type committees are. So I think Commissioner Buzza, rest assured there's been lots of community input on this one. Looks like some great recommendations. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Were there any other questions, comments from the commissioners? I did have one, probably for staff or maybe city staff. I noticed that we're lessening, I guess, the side setbacks in some areas. And I was wondering if there were any comments on that from the permitting or the construction departments. The only reason I ask that is I know side setbacks are usually what they are to prevent fire from spreading, to allow emergency vehicles access. So I'm just trying to make sure we're not inadvertently creating a dangerous situation, and making sure that moving that side setback and decreasing it was looked at by the appropriate people and approved before we go changing the law on it. Did anyone have anything to say?
Yes, sir. Eric Cotton, City of Tampa.
Okay, thank you.
I'm online. Yes, sir. Well, the current setback right now for East Tampa for residential is 5 feet. That is the minimum that you can have on a residential structure without triggering the need for fire suppression, meaning you can have openings, you don't have to fire rate the walls and such. When you go less than the 5 feet, you do have to fire rate for residential.
Okay, so if they were to use the options in the overlay, then they'd have to be subject to a higher fire rating.
Correct. If they less than the 5 feet for whatever reason, they have to comply with the Florida Building Code.
Okay.
And they may have to fire rate the structure itself.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That was my only question.
You're welcome.
All right. Are there any more comments or discussion items from the commissioners? Not seeing any at this time, then I'll go on ahead and close public comment on this item and open it up to the commissioners for motions on this item. Commissioner Buzza.
I'd like to move that we fund the LDC text amendment relating to the East Tampa overlay design consistent with Tampa Comprehensive Plan and forward this on to the Tampa City Council.
All right, that's a motion of consistency finding. Commissioner Soria.
I will second the motion.
All right, we have a motion of consistency finding by Commissioner Buzza, second to that motion by Commissioner Soria. Are there any more comments or discussion from the commissioners? Seeing none at this point in time, I'll ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote on this item.
Bernstein?
Yes.
Bowden?
Yes.
Buzza?
Yes?
Cardenas?
Yes.
Kress?
Yes.
Surya?
Yes.
Joseph?
Yes.
For the
Commissioner
clerk's information, Commissioner Handy has arrived.
And Fernandez also.
Oh, and Fernandez, sorry.
Yeah.
Very good. Fernandez?
Yes.
Handy?
Yes.
Motion carried 9-0.
All right, thank you. Thank you for the presentation and congratulations. Next up, we have no more action, a bunch of briefings and presentations. First up is 5A Plan Hillsborough Strategic Plan Implementation and Annual Report, and the presenter is Melissa Dickens.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Melissa Dickens, Planning Commission staff. Just one moment while I get the presentation up. All right, so this is our annual report on implementation progress for the Plan Hillsborough Strategic Plan. This is something that's always really exciting and fun for us to share. It's an opportunity for us to go over our accomplishments from the previous year, things that we've been working on, things that we've achieved, and share with you all our progress on implementation. This presentation today is going to be kind of a high-level overview, but if you have any questions or want to delve deeper into any of the components of the presentation, it's all in our 2022 annual report. This, I think, was given out last time. We also have some additional copies in the lobby, and it's included in your packet today. Also included in your packet is a highlights document that identifies different components of the strategic plan and how they pertain to our director's performance evaluation. And before I get started with an overview of what we've been working on this past year, want to thank the project team and everyone who's been involved in putting this together. Special thanks to Katrina Corcoran, Bryn Dauphiné, and Caroline Charles for their work in compiling this. A little bit of background on our Plan Hillsborough Strategic Plan. I think some of you were involved in the development of it several years ago. So our agency, you all see sort of long-range planning typically, looking out to 2045, 2050. The strategic plan is a little bit different for us in that it's a way for us to look near term with the direction from our boards on what we should focus on as an organization strategically. So where should we prioritize things in the near term to help accomplish some of the larger planning projects that we have. The strategic plan was last updated in 2018, It was developed with input and direction from all three boards that are served by Plan Hillsborough staff or supported by Plan Hillsborough staff. So that's this board, also the TPO and the River Board. And that group collectively developed the 2018 to 2023 strategic plan. So you hear that end year, 2023, we are going to be working to update the strategic plan this year. I'm going to share a little bit more about that later in the presentation. But this presentation is focused on what we have today and the various ways in which we've been implementing it. There are 7 strategic priorities within the Plan Hillsborough strategic plan. They're up on your screen now. You can see that they kind of represent both the breadth and the depth of the work that our agency does, both our focus out in the community, our focus on planning work, and then our focus to also improve the work that we do internally. And as I go through the highlights and accomplishments from this past year, they are categorized in the report by the strategic priority. Some of them, of course, could apply to multiple strategic priorities, but that's how we've grouped them in terms of showing what we've been working on. The first strategic priority is citizen engagement. And this is all about finding ways to connect and engage with the residents and stakeholders in our community. The first item is really about the residents of Hillsborough County coming to us. We had over 2,000 folks reach out to us this past year. We call them our client counts. We do track them. So we had a number of inquiries in our projects and work that we're doing. But we also want to make sure that we're proactively reaching out to members of the community, going around to where people are going about their everyday life, where they're joining other boards and committees. So last year we had 110 community presentations throughout Hillsborough County. So that was a great way to get out and connect with people in their day-to-day. Our Future Leaders in Planning program, or FLIP, and FLIP Junior returned this year. It was a way for our team to connect with the young future planners of Hillsborough County. That was in person this year, and we also, for FLIP, additionally added connections with virtual school students and homeschool students this year. The 1 Minute Matters video series, which is a series of sort of bite-sized clips about planning, explaining complicated planning topics in a way that's a little easier to understand. We took that series and translated it into Spanish so that it would be accessible for the Spanish speakers in our community. The next strategic priority is planning partnerships, and this is all about strengthening the work that we do by working with other entities, other organizations, other government agencies. And last year, our agency hosted or co-partnered on 22 educational events to share information on planning out in our communities and our neighborhoods. Staff also partnered with the City of Tampa. Planning Commission staff led both a study and an amendment to protect the cemeteries within the City of Tampa. There were policies added recognizing the importance of and encouraging the protection of cemeteries within the city. Staff also worked to advance system improvements around schools as part of the Tampa School Transportation study within the city as well. And our team continues to collaborate with our client government partners, Hillsborough County and the City of Tampa staff, on those significant updates to the comprehensive plan that you see coming before you regularly. We're in regular discussions, regular ongoing meetings on how we can work together to make sure that those items get updated. Linking land use and transportation is the next strategic priority. This is kind of our bread and butter in terms of what we do as an organization, linking planning for mobility with planning for place. The Tampa Comprehensive Plan vision encompassed a number of those different concepts that help to link planning for land use and planning for transportation. And that was a result of a lot of community input and approved by Tampa City Council this year. The Hillsborough County Centers and Connections work is a way to link mobility, housing, and land use with incentives to encourage redevelopment in certain areas of the county. That's going to be moving forward as part of the the Hillsborough County future land use update. So that'll be coming before you a little bit later this year as well. The Plant City Mixed Use Gateway. There was an update to that plan this year, incentives to encourage mixed use along State Road 39, kind of the gateway area for Plant City. That update took place this past year. And kind of important for context, this probably should have been on my first slide, but in context for thinking about not only the information on this slide, but what we've been doing over the prior year, operating in a really high volume of plan amendments and rezonings. Some of our jurisdictions saw record numbers of plan amendments this past year. For example, typically staff will see 4 or 5 plan amendments per cycle. City of Tampa had one cycle this year where there were 13 in a cycle. We had 424 consistency reviews this past year. So just lots of activity all around, and continuing to do those tactical reviews and make sure that items are in compliance with the comprehensive plan, but also working on this strategic work as well. The next strategic priority is regionalism. It was great that Kara was here today, and thank you, Commissioner Rodriguez, for the comments on our team's work there. Our teams participated in over 40 regional meetings on topics like mobility and transportation, the environment, and resiliency. Nice comments about our work on the Regional Resiliency Coalition earlier on the Planning and Management Committee. Staff was also involved in putting together the plan that you heard today, as well as a number of other resiliency-related projects. The workshops on the coastal high hazard area, another planning effort that goes beyond jurisdictional boundaries, so that putting together those workshops that evaluate coastal high hazard area and planning issues there. And then our teams worked very closely with state, regional, and local government agency partners to link water supply and comprehensive planning through updates to the 10-year water supply facilities work plans for all 4 of our client governments. The next strategic priority is enabling transportation choices. That's all about additional options for mobility. One large update this past year is the Smart Cities Mobility Plan. That was an update to the Intelligent Transportation Systems Master Plan that was last updated in 2013. And this update really looks to existing and emerging technologies to help with solving some of the mobility challenges that we have. Also comes up with priority rankings that ultimately is used for projects in the TIP. So that was a significant update this past year. TPO staff also worked to provide recommendations on the Plant City Trail, the Canal Connector Trail in Plant City. That was the trail study that happened out there. Staff also looked at a number of high injury corridors where and looked at the health outcomes of those looked at health parameters along those high injury corridors, looked at how the outcomes might change if those corridors were designed in a way that reflected complete streets, and evaluated that and provided that information as well. And then finally, kind of a fun project, staff coordinated with students at Dowdell Middle School to put together a mural for their crosswalk to enhance safety and visibility there. The next strategic priority is technology and innovation, and this is all about leveraging the technological enhancements, and in order to strengthen the work that we do as an organization. One major success from the past year was expanding the agency's digital library, linking with Hillsborough County library system so that folks can look up previous planning studies, look up previous reports, and it's accessible to anyone with a library card. So that's a great way to have more people in the community be able to access what we're doing. Also, staff put together, or completed the online plan amendment application process. So in lieu of submitting a paper form, now applicants can submit things electronically. This saves time, saves process, saves paper. So this was a really exciting development this past year. And then the team also put together demographic dashboards looking at different demographic data for different areas of the county. Those are available on our website as well, so that anyone can take a quick look and look at different demographic indicators if they're curious. And the final strategic priority is internal agency enhancements. This is all about enhancing the work that we do, our processes, and continuing to make this organization a great place to work. We continued the social committee events and conference knowledge sharing, so that if someone attended a conference, they come back, report to staff, so that everyone can learn the best practices, new trends, new technologies. So that's a nice way to share information. There were also updates to both the Plant City and Hillsborough County procedures manuals, updates to those this past year. And then we had some changes to some of our internal processes and programs. The first is the development of an entirely in-house emerging leaders program. Worked to identify those folks within our organization who might be interested in moving into leadership sometime in the future, providing them training, providing them resources. Staff also completed diversity trainings, as well as updating the templates to ensure compliance with ADA requirements. And so that was kind of the very broad overview of our work this past year. We wanted to share a little bit about what's to come and what we're going to be working on. Implementation, as always, continues to be a focus for our team. We're continually looking at different projects and how they might relate to the strategic plan, how we might be able to coordinate those efforts. And we're going to be looking holistically here over the next few months at how we've done over the course of the 5-year period. So from 2018 to now, looking at what's been done, maybe if there's anything that we still need to look at, and then providing that analysis and evaluation in preparation for updating the strategic plan. So we're going to be probably coming to you all, both at our board's retreat, but also probably before, to get your input, get your ideas, and look for different ways that we can update this document. And this concludes my presentation this afternoon. I am available for questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Were there any questions or comments, discussion items from Commissioner Bernstein?
Thank you for that presentation, Ms. Dickens. You all have a lot going on, and it's exciting to see all the thought you're putting into going forward, not just 20 years from now, but next year. A question and a comment, I guess. You got my attention with that emerging leaders reference. I was really pleased to see that, and we'll be interested to see how that goes over the next several months and years. So look forward to hearing more updates once that's entrenched and to see if it bears fruit. But yeah, successorship is an important part of any organization. And a quick question, with the electronic application process, and maybe this information is available elsewhere, but I'm just curious, what percentage of the applications are you seeing come through electronically versus manually these days?
I think, and maybe David can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think all of the applications are submitted electronically now. It's just that we just started this year, which we'll take credit for in next year's update, the online payments that just started this month, actually. And I think we've seen a couple of the plan amendments that were filed for the City of Tampa's February cycle take advantage of that online payment opportunity. They did, but I believe all the applications are online now.
So it's the payment piece that's now moving virtual.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yeah,
great. That should help.
That just started this month. Oh, David's going to.
David, hey, just there's been a few challenges for applicants out in Plant City that they preferred some of the paper, so we gave them the option to continue to use paper until they get a little more familiar with the process. But all of them, most of them were provided electronically.
All right, thank you. Were there any other questions, discussion items from the commissioners? Not seeing any. We'll thank you for the presentation, and we will move on to our next item. Item 5B, PCCPA 22-15, Comprehensive Plan Map Amendment, north of Swindell Road, east of Charlie Taylor Road, and the presenter is Krista Kelly.
Thank you. Let me just get my presentation here. Okay, good afternoon. Oh, I'm sorry. Good afternoon, Krista Kelly, Planning Commission staff. Today I'm presenting to you Future Land Use Map Amendment, PCCPA 2215. This is a proposed map amendment which is privately initiated and encompasses approximately 204 acres of land. Approximately 135 acres of the site is currently in Plant City, and the remaining land are pending a voluntary annexation, which is running concurrent with this proposed amendment. The applicant is requesting a land use change from Hillsborough County Residential 1 and Agricultural Rural 1 to 5 to Plant City Industrial. The amendment site is located in the northeast quadrant of Plant City and is within the boundary of the Northeast Plant City Area Master Plan. This area is intended to be a focal point for future residential development and is designed to guide growth and annexation activities in a manner that will further the master plan's vision for this area. The subject site is specifically located north of Swindell Road, east of Charlie Taylor Road, west of County Line Road, and south of Midway Road. Okay, this is an aerial of the site outlined in pink. The site is abutting the Hillsborough County line, which delineates the boundary between Hillsborough County and Polk County. This site is currently used for agricultural purposes and is in an area that is predominantly rural and agricultural in character. There are scattered homes and residential development surrounding the site to the west and south. And in addition, there are large agricultural tracts and vacant tracts. To the south of the site, less than half a mile of the subject property is the I-4 interchange. This site has access to the interchange off Swindell Road and County Line Road. This is the adopted future land use map, which shows the amendment site outlined in the black dashed line, and shows that the site is currently designated Residential 1 and Agricultural Rural 1 to 5. This portion, the portion of the site to the west is identified also as a transitional area, which denotes that the site was annexed but still retains the Hillsborough County Residential 1 designation. As noted earlier, the remaining land making up the site is in the process of a voluntary annexation, and that's to the east. The blue dashed line, if you can see here very lightly, represents the city limits. The designations surrounding the site outside the city limits are predominantly designated Residential 1 to the south and Agricultural Rural to the north and west. The land surrounding the site in Plant City are predominantly designated Plant City Residential 4, and that's this orange color. This large tract here, also a transitional area, is a plan amendment currently in process. You may remember they are proposing to change this designation from Residential 1 to Industrial. It's been continued a number of times, and so it's still in process. This is the proposed future land use map showing the site designated industrial. And as you can see to the south of the amendment site, there is industrial land or light industrial in the unincorporated Hillsborough County adjacent to the I-4 interchange. The current development potential of the amendment site provides for up to 172 dwelling units and up to approximately 70,000 square feet of non-residential uses. The applicant's requesting a designation change to Plant City Industrial, which would eliminate the residential development potential on the site and increase the non-residential development potential to approximately 4.4 million square feet. Overall, this proposed change would introduce industrial uses on site, including warehousing, offices, site-intensive uses that would allow outdoor storage and would eliminate the potential for residential development. Following this briefing, this amendment is going to come before you at a Planning Commission hearing scheduled for March 22nd. It would go to the Planning Commission, the Planning Board, March 22nd, and then to the Plant City Commission, April 24th. Tentatively scheduled for the adoption hearing would be June 26th. That concludes my presentation of this amendment, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
All right, thank you. Were there any questions, or discussions, comments from the commissioners on this item? I did have a quick question for you.
Sure.
You said the site was annexed by Plant City, but it still uses a Hillsborough County land use designation?
The western portion of the site was annexed, but it was not mandatory that you can currently amend the land use category and the annexation concurrently. So there are a number of sites throughout Plant City that have this condition.
Okay.
And as they come forward to annex, or to propose a use like rezone the property, they have to do the amendment and the rezoning and the to address that problem.
Okay. All right. Commissioner Handy?
Thank you. I'm looking at the one of the maps in the package that says it's the Northeast Plant City Area Master Plan Preferred Land Use Scenario. Can you explain that, please?
Sure. The Northeast Plant City Area Master Plan is the textual description of the concepts envisioned in that plan, and the Preferred Land Use Scenario map implements that. It's part of the master plan, but it establishes the land uses that are intended to further or implement those visions.
Okay, so
yeah, it's confusing. It's duplicative. Some people refer to it just as a Northeast Master Plan, that map, but it's actually a map within the master plan.
Okay, and it says preferred, so this is what was envisioned within the master plan.
Yes.
And the proposed change does away with doesn't contemplate any of that, essentially.
Yes, it is in contrast to what was envisioned for that area.
Okay. Yeah, I'm noticing that there are wetlands, floodplains, designated recreation open space, and in addition to the agricultural. So this is, yeah, considerably different. Okay. Thank you for clarifying.
Thank you.
All right. Were there any more questions from the commissioners on this item? Not seeing any at this time. Well, thank you for the information and move on to our next item. 5C, PCCPA 22-16 Comprehensive Plan Map Amendment east of James L. Redman Parkway and south of Trapnell Road. Presenter is Krista Kelly.
Thank you again, Krista Kelly, Planning Commission staff. I'm presenting PCCPA 22-16, a future land use map amendment. Again, this is a privately initiated amendment. It is a small-scale amendment based on its size of 16 acres. It consists of 2 parcels. These properties were voluntarily annexed into Plant City in 2007, and similar to the previous case, the properties still retain a Hillsborough County land use designation, which in this case is Residential 1. The applicant is proposing a change of the designation on the site to Plant City's Gateway District land use category. Okay, this is the proposed amendment site is located on the southern side of Plant City. Specifically, it's located south of Trapnell Road, east of James Redman Parkway, north of Kilgore Road, and west of C.A. Bug Road. This is an aerial of this amendment site outlined in pink, and the blue line that you see is the city limits for Plant City. Currently, the site's developed with a single-family home and some accessory buildings, and appears to be used primarily for agricultural purposes. The surrounding area appears to be also agricultural in character. Further to the southeast, there are existing residential development you see in the lower corner. It's an existing pattern that runs along Kilgore Road to the south of the amendment site. The site fronts on and gains access from James L. Redman Parkway. The roadway is a 4-lane corridor, major corridor, routing traffic directly to downtown Plant City to the north and to State Road 60 to the south. The adopted future land use map shows the site outlined in the black dashed line, and again, it's shown as a transitional area, which means it's been annexed but retains the county's designation, which is residential 1. Within the city limits, the site is situated between lands designated Gateway District to the north and to the south. The lands directly to the east of the site within Plant City is also its designated residential 4. And some of you may recognize this site. It was recently amended last year to residential 4 from residential 1. Outside the city limits, the site to the east and west, the lands are predominantly designated Hillsborough County Residential 1. This is the proposed future land use map showing the site designated Gateway District. As you can see, it is comparable and infills the gap of the Gateway District envisioned for this area. Under the amendment site's current designation of Hillsborough County Residential 1, 16 dwelling units could be developed, and up to 30,000 square feet of non-residential uses meeting locational criteria could potentially be developed on this 16.9 acre site. The applicant's requesting a designation change to the Gateway District and has the potential of, which would increase the potential dwelling units to 270 units and also significantly increase the allowable square footage for non-residential uses to 257,809 square feet. This, again, is coming before the Planning Commission on March 13th at a public hearing, and then recommendations will be forwarded to the Planning Board on March 22nd, and an adoption hearing is scheduled for April 24th with the Plant City Commission. And that concludes my presentation on this amendment, and again, I'm really happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions or discussion items from the commissioners? Not seeing any at this time. We'll thank you for the presentation and move on to our next item of business, 5D, PCCPA 22-17, Comprehensive Plan Map Amendment, west of Park Road and south of East Sam Allen Road, and presenter is Yanika Mills.
Sorry.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Yanika Mills, Planning Commission staff. I'm here to present PCCPA 22-17. This is a privately initiated amendment that is small in scale, approximately 18 acres. The applicant is requesting a future land use designation change from residential 6 and commercial to residential 20. This site is located within the northern portion of Plant City, specifically west of Park Road, south of Sam Allen Road. Maryland Avenue abuts the site along its western boundary. The amendment site is located within the boundary of the Northeast Plant City Master Plan. The site is also located within the I-4 Tech Corridor, which promotes high-quality employment opportunities, that achieve the economic development and sustainability objectives of Plant City. To give you some context of the area, the site is outlined in pink here. Park Road abuts the site along its eastern boundary. Sam Allen Road is to the north. As for uses in the area, single family abuts the site along its southwestern boundary. There is a church located here along the northwestern boundary. And currently, the site is designated as agricultural. And as you can see from the character of the area, it's pretty rural in character and large lot agricultural uses in the area as well. Currently, the site is designated residential 6 as well as commercial. That's commercial is the red, residential 6 is the yellow color. Other future land use classifications in the area include additional residential 6 to the north. We have Plant City Industrial in the gray, additional commercial here of Plant Cities. There's also Hillsborough County Residential 1 here. We have Hillsborough County Residential 2 here and here. Plant City Residential 4 here. So there's a number of different future land use classifications in the area. We also have a presence of suburban mixed use 6, which is within Hillsborough County. Again, the applicant is requesting a future land use designation change to residential 20. The current development potential of the amendment site provides up to 77 dwelling units in over 240,000 square feet of non-residential uses under the residential 6 and commercial future land use designations. If the applicant's request were to be approved for the residential 20, the potential units would increase to over 360, and the non-residential potential would increase to over 275,000 square feet. So there will be an increase both for residential as well as non-residential uses. This item will be back before you all for Planning Commission public hearing on March 13th. It's scheduled to move to the Plant City Planning Board on May 24th, and Plant City for adoption tentatively scheduled for June 26th. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions or discussion items from the commissioners? Not seeing any at this time. We'll thank you for the presentation and move on to our next item of business. 5E, PCCPA 22-18, Comprehensive Plan Map Amendment, east of Wiggins Road and north of Rice Road. And the presenter is Krista Kelly.
Thank you, Krista Kelly, Planning Commission staff. I'm presenting Future Land Use Map Amendment PCCPA 22-18. This is a privately initiated amendment. It consists of one property totaling 16.5 acres approximately. The property is in the process of a voluntary annexation concurrent with this application. The applicant's requesting a designation change from Hillsborough County Residential 1 to Plant City Industrial. The site's located adjacent to the city limits on the southeastern side of Plant City. The site has frontage on Wiggins Road to the east. County Line Road is approximately a quarter mile to the west and delineates the boundary between Hillsborough County and Polk County. Kirkland Road is to the north and Rice Road is to the south. This is an aerial which shows the subject site outlined in pink. The blue line again delineates the city limits. As you can see, the subject site abuts the city limits along its eastern and southern boundary. Currently, the site is used for agricultural purposes and is surrounded by a mix of rural residential and agricultural lands outside of Plant City to the north, east, and west. To the south, in Plant City, the area is adjacent to an area predominantly developed with industrial uses, including warehouses and accessory buildings. There is scattered residential development further interspersed among properties to the south. This is the adopted future land use map. As we see, the surrounding area outside of Plant City is predominantly designated residential 1. The blue line delineating the Plant City limits shows the land in the northeast and east and south within Plant City as designated industrial. And this is all this area which runs along County Line Road, which is considered or recognized as an industrial corridor. And this is the proposed future land use map, again showing the site changed to the proposed industrial designation, adjacent on 2 sides with existing industrial within Plant City, and also annexed into the city limits. The development potential of the amendment site designated Hillsborough County Residential 1 provides for up to 16 dwelling units and could allow up to 30,000 square feet of non-residential uses which meet locational criteria. The applicants requesting a designation change to industrial, which would eliminate the residential potential on the site and increase the allowable square footage for non-residential uses to 359,370 square feet. This plan amendment will come back to you on March 13th for a public hearing and be forwarded to Plant City Board on March 22nd, and an adoption hearing is scheduled for April 24th. And that concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from the commissioners on this item? Not seeing any at this time. Well, thank you for the information and move on to our last presentation. 5F, PCCPA 22-19, Comprehensive Plan Map Amendment, south of Medulla Road and west of County Line Road, and the presenter is Yanika Mills.
Again, good afternoon, Commissioners. Yanika Mills, Planning Commission staff. I'm here to present PCCPA 22-19. The proposed map amendment is privately initiated in a little over 5 acres. This amendment site was part of a referendum to be annexed into Plant City, which was approved in July of 2022. The applicant is requesting a future land use change from Hillsborough County Residential 1 to Plant City Commercial. The site is located within the southern portion of Plant City, specifically on the west side of County Line Road and south of Medulla Road. On the east side of County Line Road is Polk County. To give you some further context of the area, here's the site outlined in pink. Medulla Road, again, runs along the northern boundary of the site. County Line Road runs along the eastern boundary of the site. Again, Polk County limits are on the east of County Line Road. The site is currently vacant. There is single-family residential along the northern as well as western portions of the site. A church abuts the site to the south, located here. And on the other side of County Line Road is a graveyard. The site, again, is currently designated as Hillsborough County Residential 1. And as you can see to the north, there's presence of Plant City future land use of industrial. The applicant, again, is requesting Plant City Commercial. The current development potential of the amendment site provides for up to 5 dwelling units and up to 62,000 square feet of non-residential uses. If the applicant's request were to be approved for Plant City Commercial, the potential units would increase slightly to 18, and the non-residential potential would increase to over 86,000 square feet. A change to the Plant City Commercial would introduce the potential for intensive commercial uses to be developed. This amendment request will be back before you at a March 13th Planning Commission public hearing. followed by a Plant City Board meeting on March 22nd, and tentatively scheduled for an adoption hearing before the Plant City Council for April 24th. This concludes my presentations. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you. Were there any questions or comments from the planning commissioners on this item? Not seeing any at this time. Well, thank you, and move on to our next item. Item number 6, Executive Director's Report, and the presenter is Melissa Zornita.
Good afternoon, Melissa Zornita, Executive Director. At your seats, you should have a copy of my Executive Director's Report. A couple of items that I wanted to highlight. We've been having a number of meetings with the City of Tampa on their future land use assessment, and the consultant will be presenting some preliminary recommendations at a workshop with Tampa City Council on February 23rd. Which is next Thursday. When we get those materials, we'll forward them to you all for your information, and we expect that we'll be sharing and discussing that with you all soon. We had a great meeting on January 20th with Temple Terrace city staff. We had similarly gone out, a group of us, to meet with Plant City staff a couple of months ago. There's been a lot of staff changes in our organization as well as in theirs, and it was a great opportunity to get to meet everyone, understand what everybody's roles are. We had a meeting last month, Mr. Hay and Ms. Malone joined me in meeting with Patrick Mantegna from the La Gaceta newspaper to talk about some land use issues he'd been hearing about in the community. So that was a great dialogue, and we look forward to continuing to work with him, particularly on opportunities to educate the community about planning. At the end of the month, the Board of County Commissioners in one of their meetings asked for us to look at the consideration of creation of a Valrico community plan. That is not an area that currently has an adopted community plan for the unincorporated area, but you may recall, it's probably been maybe close to 6 months ago now, there were a couple of land use amendments along State Road 60 that garnered a good bit of opposition from the community out that way, and kind of brought to light the fact that there wasn't a community plan, and there are a number of community issues that probably could use planning for. So we have been working with our partners at the county in community and infrastructure planning and development services on what a timeline could look like for a Valrico community plan. Creating a new community plan has some different dynamics than updating community plans, which is what we've been doing lately. We're in Palm River right now with an update process, but we've been looking at ways that we could accelerate and use our resources a little bit differently, so that because these efforts historically have been very time intensive with a meeting once every month. So we're looking at some other structures of how we could do that to be able to maximize our resources. We also, right now, are working on the Fowler Avenue corridor study for both the city and the county. And both that and the Palm River project, plus the updates of the comprehensive plans, have our resources stretched rather thin, particularly given the number of plan amendments and zonings that are also ongoing. So we want to manage the expectations of, and believe we could start a Valrico community plan by the end of the year, but it would probably not get finished until 2024. Let's see. There are a number of other things on here, and I'm happy to answer questions about any of them, but I picked a couple to highlight that I thought were significant. At the Transportation Planning Organization meeting last week, and hopefully I'm not stealing Commissioner Saria's thunder here, but the policy committee recommended to the full TPO, who approved, that we will be handling the executive director search for their new executive director. So for those who haven't heard, Beth Alden, their current executive director, announced her retirement. Her retirement will be in November So she's given us quite a bit of lead time to search for a new executive director. We presented to the TPO 2 alternative approaches to pursuing that search, one utilizing a consultant and one using our in-house HR manager, Megan Boterney. They felt quite comfortable with her skills and expertise, which was great. That will also have a cost savings to everyone. So we will be, as a team, assisting her, because a national search for an executive director is a little different than our normal job posting and hiring. We want to make sure we get that well publicized when we have a job announcement for that, and be assisting her with that. Then that same day in the afternoon, the Board of County Commissioners held a workshop, which was at our request to focus on the update of the future land use element. As you know, we have been going through the different sections of the comprehensive plan, getting them updated, and we saved the best for last, I guess. We saved the future land use, and have that to tackle this year. So the item that's stapled in front of you with a letter on top is the entire presentation that was shared with the Board of County Commissioners. I'm not going to walk through all of it with you because a good bit of it was intended to orient the board members to the role of the comprehensive plan in their decision making, because and familiarize them with some of the concepts that are adopted that you all review plan amendments against all the time. But I did want to point to that we shared with them our latest population and growth projections out to 2050, and we discussed our recommended approach to dealing with this growth going forward, which is the same approach that we've suggested probably 3-4 years ago, which is a balanced approach, one that looks at redevelopment and intensification in the cities and portions of the county, and then also begins to plan for strategic outward expansion in areas around Plant City, where we're seeing a lot of annexations, and we need to plan. The Northeast Master Plan is a great tool, but as you see, there are annexations going southward from Plant City towards State Road 60, and we could probably use a master plan for that area so that as these annexations come in, they're coming in a well-planned manner. The other area that we suggested was along the I-4 corridor, which is something that the county has discussed for quite some time, but never moved forward with. We also, in the presentation, share our draft 8 goals for the future land use section. Right now, there's only one, and there's 700 policies, so it needed some more goals to kind of balance that out. And then towards the back of the presentation, we have a concept called Centers and Connections that is a tool that we are proposing to focus and allow for intensification within the urban service area. We feel that that's an important step towards encouraging infill and redevelopment in the right places, in places that are consistent with the community plans. To being able to accommodate growth going forward, we need to look at maximizing the existing infrastructure and the existing opportunities to accommodate growth in the urban service area. So I just share that as some information. There will definitely be more workshops and briefings with you all in the coming months on that topic, but I wanted to make sure you heard about it from me. A couple of other items. I had previously mentioned at one of our meetings about the homegrown Hillsborough concept. It was something that we were approached by the Agricultural Extension Office to assist with an initiative they had on homegrown Hillsborough. It looks like they're going to be contracting with Mr. Fernandez to get some assistance from the USF planning program on creation of a GIS database, an interactive web map, and a community food assessment. They may still be asking for our assistance in overseeing some of that work. Once they get their agreement done with Commissioner Fernandez, then they will be looking over the scope and determining where they could use some planner expertise to assist them, because the Agricultural Extension Office doesn't really have that in-house. So we look forward to assisting them as we can. As an update on some of the plan amendments that you all have heard in the last couple of months. So the last time we had a whole lot of City of Tampa plan amendments, that was November? I think it was in November. So City Council heard all of those in January. And they supported your all's recommendations except for two. They did not agree on, they denied the plan amendment that was in Seminole Heights. And if you'll recall, the applicant kind of reduced the density on the fly in the meeting and said they would go for a lower density, I believe Res 20. They denied that plan amendment. They also denied a plan amendment that was on Linebaugh Avenue, just east of 275. 275 kind of dead-ended. I mean, Linebaugh dead ends right into 275. And they felt that that increase in density there was inconsistent, or they didn't support it. They did, there's one of note that was on Southwest Shore Boulevard. It was in the coastal high hazard area. Staff had found it inconsistent. Y'all found it consistent, and Tampa City Council agreed with you on that. One of the more controversial items of the evening, the plan amendment on Bayshore Boulevard at the Jewish Temple, that one withdrew. So they are not moving forward with their plan amendment. A couple of the more controversial ones that we had that evening are awaiting their rezonings to come along with them, and so we will share the outcome when we get them. For the county, we had a whole bunch of plan amendments that you heard, some in January, some in December. The commercial locational criteria study that staff worked on was not transmitted by the BOCC. So we will be looking at their feedback on that item and rolling that into the update of the land use element. That section of the plan still needs to be updated, but certainly we heard loud and clear some of the pieces that they were not supportive of, like the some of the enhanced design. I'm blanking on what the other thing that they didn't. I'm the only one here. Okay. That's okay. There were a couple other items that they did not. The limitations on gas stations, convenience stores, drive-through facilities in some of the land use categories. They were not supportive of that change as well. So we will take that feedback, retool it, and bring it back as part of the future land use element update. They did transmit the plan amendment that was on Bullfrog Creek area in South Hillsborough County. They approved the plan amendment. This was probably like a year ago that you all heard this. That was in Keystone for one little property that was less than 5 acres, but they had 1 unit per 5 acres, and they could not build a single-family home on the property. The board sent them back to do a rezoning concurrent with their plan amendment, and then they approved it. There was some light industrial on 579. In Thanona-Sassa, they approved. Citrus Park area near Big Cat Rescue. They approved that increase in density, and they approved the plan amendment for the University Square Mall for the Burlington Coat Factory. Okay, then last but not least, I wanted to remind you all of a couple key dates. So our next meeting is March 13th. I know at least 2 members will not be here because of travel plans. Vice Chair Buzza is going to chair the meeting for us, and I really need everyone else to be here if you can. It's spring break, so I'm really hoping we have a quorum of 6 people here. So if anyone has an issue, please let me know now so that we can make sure we have everybody else here. Okay, as Ms. Dickens mentioned, on June 16th, we have our strategic planning retreat. That's going to be at the Tampa Firefighters Museum, right a couple blocks from here. That will be with you all, the TPO board, and the River Board all together. Then you all have a retreat with internal staff division directors on April 13th at the Emergency Operations Center off on Falkenberg Road. So we're going to dual purpose that retreat. We're going to get a tour of the EOC and a time to chat with their staff, kind of consistent with the workshops we've been having on the coastal high hazard area and emergency management. And then we're going to have some time to talk about Planning Commission stuff. Mr. Robin will be there. I'm sure he'll cover some of the usual topics that he covers every year, like the Sunshine Law and public records. That is April 13th. So hopefully all of those should be on your calendar with schedulers from Sharon. And I said that was the last thing, but there's one more thing. I wanted to let you know about a couple of contracts that we either have signed or will be signing. As part of the future land use update, we have hired a facilitator to manage the stakeholder meetings, and that contract is for no greater than $50,000, so that was something I was able to contract directly with. We are in the process of scoping a meeting facilitator for the strategic plan meeting. We think it's a good idea to have a neutral facilitator with all three boards there. And then I was requested by the city of Tampa to look at plan amendment fees for them. For those that might remember, a couple of years ago, the county did a study, increased their plan amendment fees. Their plan amendment fees went up from $1,000 to around $8,000. That's for a map amendment. It's a little higher if it's a text amendment. Some of their other fees increased at the same time. At the time, the Board of County Commissioners chose to charge the full cost in their fee. We have been talking with the same consultant to look at, since we were requested by the city of Tampa, I've talked to the city of Temple Terrace. They were eager and interested. Plant City, I'm not sure I'd describe them as eager, but they were fine with us studying it. So that same consultant's going to be able to do that work for us. They've quoted us a price of $20,000 to do that update for those, that fee analysis for those three, and but I have not signed that contract yet. That's still in the works. So just wanted to let you know all that's going on. I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right. Are there any questions or comments from the commissioners? Yes, Commissioner Fernandez.
I just was curious, how did the discussion go with the ULI, the time to grow up?
Yeah, so that was a presentation that a couple of us attended, and they had a representative from the city of they call it YIMBY group.
Yeah.
Commissioner Kress was there too. She can jump in. And their YIMBY group, as well as the Tampa YIMBY group. And I don't know if the head of Tampa YIMBY has been here in front of you all before, but they were both very well spoken, had some really good ideas on ways to encourage density within the cities and in some easy ways, very supportive of, for example, of accessory dwelling units, options to allow people to put maybe duplexes or triplexes on single-family lots, much like some of the historic pattern in parts of the city used to be, but then we outlawed some of those things. They also talked about some of the challenges that people have in creating density, like parking, and some of those requirements, which you all have seen some of the code amendments to remove some of the parking requirements in downtown, but they were advocating for more parking relief in other areas of the city. Anything else, Karen, that we should?
I would just add that they're part of a national network. So they're not just, kind of making stuff up. They're looking at best practices from other places and trying to learn from that. see what makes sense for Tampa.
They had a couple of examples. I was surprised. One of them was from Montana. I think they had an example, and I was like, gosh, I didn't think of Montana as being a place where they would have been, talking about density. But I guess they want to, utilize their land well.
Yeah, I just learned that Bozeman is called Bose Angeles because there's so much growth there.
Wow. Yeah, they also had a speaker who was from California, I think, in the national organization who spoke. It was interesting.
Great, thanks.
Sure.
All right, are there any other questions or comments, discussion items from the commissioners? I'm not seeing any at this time. Well, thank you, Ms. Sornita.
Thank you.
And move on to our next item of business. Item number 7 is other business. Chair's business, I have none. Old business, there was none. Anybody have any new business this time? Not seeing any. Then I will turn it over to committee reports. Commissioner Rodriguez.
Thank you, Chair. On January 18th, City of Tampa held their Affordable Housing Advisory Committee meeting. We had an update from city staff on various activities of their Housing and Community Development Division. And we went into the brunt of the meeting. We went into great detail on 17 properties that they're looking at for their Phase 3 program for affordable housing, 17 units or 17 plots of land for either single-family or multifamily development, primarily in the East Tampa area. So we went into detail with city staff on each one, gave them our recommendations, and they will be moving forward proposal, those requests from developers for what to do with these properties. That's all due to the city back on March 13th, and they are looking for contract execution with those contractors by May 1st. So a pretty quick timeline to turn those around, but getting some more affordable housing units underway in the East Tampa area. That concludes my report. Next meeting will be February 15th.
All right, thank you. Are there any other committee reports or comments? Commissioner Kress.
The Public Information Committee, just so you can, I don't know whether a schedule has been sent out, but if you want to make a note, the 41st Annual Planning and Design Awards have been scheduled now. They're going to be back at the Glazer JCC, and it's going to be on Wednesday, October 18th, starting at 5:15, so mark your calendar. Brenda McLaughlin, the MC, has agreed to do it again, and Lynn is actively trying to secure sponsorship, and that's a hint, apparently, for everyone. And then I'll pass around a flyer. There's going to be a tour of Midtown Tampa. I imagine it probably will sell out. It's free, but you do need to reserve in advance, and that's going to be on March 1st over the lunch hours. So there's a flyer going around on that one. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, were there any other committee reports? Not seeing any at this time. And we will go on ahead because that was our last item of business. So we will adjourn this meeting and see everybody at 5:30 for the public hearing. All right, 4:41, meeting adjourned.